Hi there, this is Talia the dietitian, and today I'm going to be talking about how to help you be less frustrated at mealtimes. If there's one thing that I have learned from talking to parents is that mealtimes are a source of stress and anxiety for almost every parent at some point. And a lot of that is very normal because our children go through times, phases in their life where they assert autonomy over the things that they can control as they're growing up. And one of those things is food, because ultimately, as you would know, you're the only one that can put food in your mouth, chew it, and swallow it. And your child knows that as well. There are some things that they have the ultimate control over, and they will assert independence in that area. And the way we approach that, do we force it? Do we force things on them, or do we let it be? That is going to make a huge impact on our meal times as a family and how anxious and stressed we are as the parent. So I want to help you decrease your stress and anxiety, because every parent would like to be less frustrated, particularly at meal times when we're feeding our kids 3 to 4 times or 5 times a day. That's a lot of times to be stressed, worried, and anxious. So today, 3 tips to help you feel less frustrated. The first tip is before you sit down to a meal with your kiddo, take a couple of deep breaths. Turn around, face the wall, close your eyes, and just take a few deep breaths. Just center yourself and just prepare yourself that it's about to be meal times. Get yourself in the headspace. Just release any tension and stress that you have before you even sit down. Something might have happened to you in your day so far that has made you stressed. And that can compound at mealtime if mealtimes tend to be stressful as well. You want to come into mealtimes being as relaxed and centered as possible. Release as much of the stress before you start a meal. The second tip I have is to just release your expectations. That you expect your child to eat, that you expect your child to try the new food that you put on their plate, that you expect your child to eat everything on their plate, that you expect them to not ask for seconds of something. Just release all of those expectations, because ultimately your child is the one who knows when they're hungry and full. Your child is the one who is going to decide, today I'm going to eat, you've given me this plate of food and it's got fruit, I'm just going to eat the fruit. I have my little baby who's almost 2. If you put fruit on her plate, she is always going to eat it and always going to ask for more. If I go into that mealtime with the expectation that she's not going to ask for more, and then she asks for more and I end up giving her 4 servings of fruit, I'm just going to be more and more anxious each time. Oh my gosh, why is she eating so much fruit? I thought this time would be different. Maybe I shouldn't give fruit. And I just sit there and second guess myself the whole time. That makes mealtime so stressful for me. And she's going to pick up on that. I'm gesturing over there because that's where she sits. But she's going to pick up on that, and that's not what I want. I don't want her to feel my stress that she's eating too much fruit, or not. And I mean that as in that I have the expectation that it's too much fruit. It's not too much fruit. She's just eating more fruit than I had expected. And if I drop my expectations before mealtime, I'm not going to be as anxious that she's doing that. And that also comes back to understanding the mealtime roles. I have a video on the mealtime roles, and if it's something that you're struggling with, I have a new course called Mealtimes Without Meltdowns that goes through this in detail, outlines the mealtime roles and exceptions to those. So who's responsible for what at mealtimes, how you can navigate mealtimes while being less stressed and frustrated, even if you have a picky eater. So if you're interested, I've got the course link in the description, and I will link the mealtime roles video at the end of this video. So the last tip for being less frustrated at mealtimes is to talk about things other than food. What? What I mean by that is, if we sit down and let's say we've put broccoli on their plate, and it's the 50th time we've put broccoli on their plate, and we have this expectation that maybe today will be the day they try broccoli, and they haven't touched it. If we start talking about their food and asking them to try some, it's just going to draw attention to it, and it's going to make you more stressful, and it's going to make your child more resistant to trying it. So if we can talk about other things, how's our day going? What are we excited to do today if it's breakfast time? Or what was the most enjoyable thing we did this morning if it's lunchtime or at dinner time? Let's reflect on the day. Like, what did you enjoy the most today? I'll go first. I enjoyed this, X, Y, and Z. Talk about those things. And if the meal comes up, like sometimes myself and my husband will talk about the different textures in a meal, that's fine to talk about it in that way. And it's fine you can make food fun by playing, games or who can crunch the loudest and that type of thing. But don't make that a focal point, because the underlying need there for parents is to get their child to do something, which is to eat the broccoli. And kids pick up on that when we're not being sincere or when we're trying to get them to do something. Think about it from your perspective. If your spouse was trying to get you to do something, and I'm sure you can think of an example, the more they ask you for it, the less you're going to want to give it to them, the less you're going to want to do that thing for them, because they are pressuring you, and your child feels the same way. And if you are a parent that is at your wit's end and you're bribing and you're so frustrated, I would highly encourage you to check out the Mealtimes Without Meltdowns course, because it is especially geared towards parents who are at a point where they are anxious or second guessing themselves all the time, giving up or bribing their kiddos, because there is a gentle, respectful way to handle all of this while still keeping boundaries for yourself and boundaries around meal times. And that's what I really want to help you with. So if you have questions, feel free to drop them in the comments. And I really hope you found this video helpful. If you have, please share it with a mum friend who would also find this helpful. And please like the video and subscribe to my channel so you don't miss a future video. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye, this is Talia the dietitian. If you enjoyed that video, here are a couple more, and don't forget to subscribe so you never miss new ones.